This next video will show you how to move an object across the screen, but also make it rotate as well. So you should have a layer which you should have renamed. In the very first keyframe, I'm going to put in a shape using the shape tool. This time I'm going to use a star. So I'm going to choose the polystar tool, and on this right hand side on the properties panel you will see options, and you've got the option of having either a polygon or a star, and you can choose the number of points for your star. And then I'm going to draw my star. You can change the shape of the star, the colour of the star, and the position of the star. To change the size of the star, choose the free transform tool. Next, you're going to put in a keyframe where you want the star to have stopped moving. So I'm going to have my star rotating diagonally across the screen, and it's going to take 2 seconds. Don't forget the frame rate is 24 frames per second. So if I want it to move for 2 seconds, I'm going to put in a keyframe at 48. Because I put my keyframe in after I drew my shape, it's automatically copied the star from the first keyframe into my second keyframe. The position of the second star will need to be at the bottom. So at the beginning it's at the top, and at the end it's at the bottom. I then need to put in just a normal classic tween in between these two keyframes. So click on the layer, right click, and create a classic tween. You should see a solid arrow with a green background on your timeline. In order to make it rotate, you will see a tweening option on the properties panel and an option to rotate. Clicking on the little arrow, you will see CW, which means clockwise, and CCW, which means counterclockwise, which we know as anti-clockwise. So make a decision, is it going to rotate clockwise or anti-clockwise? You then can change how many times it's going to rotate. I suggest you don't make it too many times, otherwise you won't be able to see it rotating. To view the animation, click on the timeline at the beginning and press enter on the keyboard. If you want it to continue rotating while it's in that position, put in another keyframe. How long do you want it to be in that position? I shall make it 1 second. So I'm going to put in a keyframe at 72. Because I put in the keyframe afterwards, it's automatically copied the star into that keyframe. I'm going to put in another tween, a classic tween, and I'm going to tell it to rotate. Again, choose how many times you want it to rotate. So when I run it, it's going to rotate for 2 seconds as it's moving diagonally down the screen, and then it's going to rotate in the same position for 1 second.